morning, everyone. Laura with Eastside Staffing here. I hope you're having a great start to your morning. So a few of you were in my clubhouse room a little over a week ago. We were talking with Alan Allard, who is an amazing guy I met via Twitter on our HR community. Alan is a former psychotherapist who's now a coach for sales professionals and leaders. So much wisdom that he shares. And I wrote down 14 or 15 bullet points basically that I had taken away. I shared it on my Instagram, so check it out on Eastside Staff. So much I've been kind of marinating over and thinking about. And one of the things he said was that blame and shame is on the opposite end of the spectrum of collaboration and accountability. So what I'm going to talk about this morning might bring up feelings of blame and shame. So a lot of times when I talk to HR leaders, they say, "Ugh, I'm guilty of that. I'm the worst. I can't believe I do that." That's really not productive or helpful. So the opposite end, which is accountability and collaboration, is where we want to be. So just the ability to say, that's something that I've done or do right now. I would like to change that. I'm going to hold myself accountable to changing that. I'm going to look within to improve that, and then collaborate with your peers in HR and share and talk about it. So the thing I wanted to talk about today is this notion that HR is not the exception. This is showing up a lot for me recently, where HR professionals aren't practicing what they preach to the rest of the company, and their own department is suffering. So where? How? Not taking PTO days, not using the EAP programs, not having review processes for their own team. So I know so many HR professionals that are struggling, asking for a salary increase or wanting to know what their career development plans are, and it's not happening from the HR leader. I see HR teams not hiring for their teams, but their teams are understaffed and burning out, or they're starting to hire for their teams and not practicing what they preach about a hiring process. So not following a structured interview guide, not following a process, keeping roles open for 4 or 5 months. So almost really in every area of HR, I notice it, where there's a resistance to kind of heeding our own advice, and we think we're somehow an exception to the rule. There was recently a LinkedIn post I had put up around this, and a lot of people were saying, well, we kind of are the exception, and we, basically we're unlearning this notion that HR is robotic and not an employee and not really a human being at work. And I think we should challenge that thinking. You are not an exception. You are an employee. You are a person. You are a human being at work. You also want to be well retained, well engaged. You also want a career that is, exciting and where you're learning and developing and challenged and motivated. So the next time that you find yourself feeling like an exception, what can you change instead? So again, no blaming and shaming towards yourself or towards anyone else but instead thinking about accountability and collaboration. Thank you for sharing that wisdom, Alan. And for all of you going into the rest of this week, let's think about HR not being the exception. Look forward to your thoughts.